Your turn, Yugi boy.
What is up, guys? This is Linthio coming at you today with an updated Graydle Kaiju deck. Now, first off, actually, in this version, don't need that. So, as I said, this is the updated Graydle Kaiju deck, and honestly, I don't have an extra deck because in testing, I haven't gone into it once. So you can put whatever you want in it, really. I'm not playing Slime in here anymore just because it was too much of a neg at times, and it was really irritating to eventually get the effect off. So yeah, without further ado, we'll go straight into it. So for the Kaijus, we have the 1, 2, and 3 Gamma Seal. So I've put 3 Gamma Seal in because honestly, he's one of the best ones. Being able to send or remove 2 counters, negate and banish anything that activates is just kind of insane. So we've got this in here, but also he's useful because he is a low attack. So for things like Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, he's nice to choose to go to your opponent if it is the right time, because it's like, I'm just going to beat over you. So there's a lot of different things you can do with Gamma Seal, but mostly he's just really, really solid in general. Next up, we have one of the brand new Kaijus. We have the Star Destroying Kaiju, and holy hell, his attack is insane. 3-3 is just incredibly high, and being able to just summon him out relatively easily is pretty good. And his effect's also very good as well, being able to remove 3 Kaiju counters from anywhere on the field to negate the activation of an effect, and if you do, you can destroy 1 other card. So basically, well, it's not 1 other card you can choose any card on the field to destroy. So it doesn't matter if you're negating 1 effect, you can destroy something else if you so wish. So it's a really good card, and overall 2 was actually quite a nice number in testing. Wondogran, we have the Mad Flame Kaiju, the adaptation of kind of weird Godzilla. Anyway, so this is here at 2 just because, you know, it's nice to have a bit of a Raigeki-esque effect. And 3k attack is really good as well. So as I said, for Slumber, we have nice high attacking monsters for ourselves, and we can give our opponent different ones. Next up, we have one Raiden. Just the one. His effect isn't too bad. You know, being able to replicate himself with a counter is quite nice, but honestly, it's kind of a bit of a meh card. But running out of 1 is still nice in my opinion. Then we have the Mystery Dust Kaiju, Mothra herself. We have here, again, not too much of a bad effect. Being able to gale your whole opponent's side of the field is quite nice. But 3 Kaiju counters for that is kind of much. So that's why I've only got it at 1. And it's been testing alright. And then we have Kumongus. Kumongus is not too bad either. 2 Kaiju counters anywhere on the field. And then until the end of the turn, your opponent's monsters cannot attack, and its effect is negated. That, you know, special summons. So it's not too bad. You need to use this carefully if you give it to your opponent. If I'm completely honest, if you do have counters on your side of the field. So yeah, but that is the Kaijus. They are just all brilliant, and I really do love them. It's such a fun deck. Going on to the Graydles, we have the 3 Alligator. This card is the MVP of the whole Graydle archetype. Being able to use itself with Graydle Impact for pluses is really, really nice. So always running it at 3 in my opinion. Next up, 3 Eagles. So Eagles here because it's the biggest attacking monster of the Graydles. As you see, Alligator has 500, Cobra has 1000, and then this has 1500. So it's really good, and also monster effects destruction is kind of not around that much, but as I said, it's just here for mainly poking and not losing too much life points if you are trying to suicide and take monsters. And then finally the 1 Cobra, just because 1 Cobra is alright, if I'm completely honest. You don't really need more, unless there are more removal traps in the game that destroy. Spells, we have the 3 Kaiju Slumber. Now, if you don't know what this card does, it's like multiple band effects in 1 card. Destroys as many monsters on the field as possible. So an important thing, in fact, I'll go over the effect and then point out the important things. So destroys as many monsters on the field as possible. Then special summon in attack position 2 Kaiju monsters with different names from the deck, 1 on each side, but they cannot change their battle positions and must attack if able. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Kaiju monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect once per turn. So, as you can see, this card sounds insane. It's a complete, like, Dark Hole effect with a Last Will effect as well. Well, half Last Will effect. If you don't know what that card does, look it up. It's been banned for a very long time for a very good reason. First off, it is awesome. Destroy as many monsters on the field as possible. So, this means that if there are monsters on the field that are invulnerable to being destroyed, it just means that you don't have to destroy them for this card to resolve. So you can destroy as many as possible, and then, brilliant, you just special summon out and carry on. So the card's really, really good. I really do love it. It's kind of a little bit insane, if I'm completely honest, but yeah, absolutely brutal, and if you use it in the right way, yeah, wow, you should be winning the game. 3, Graydle Impact. Card is also brilliant, being able to target an other Graydle card, normally Alligator, and then the card your opponent controls destroy them, and then because Alligator's been destroyed by a spell card, you can then equip it to one of your opponent's monsters. So really nice effect, really nice card, really pivotal to the deck. 2, Waterfront. Now, I will just get the terraforming. So I've gone for a 2 and a 1 because this can clog so badly. And it is important for the deck, but it's not how can I say it? It's not really the core of the deck. If you don't open up with Waterfront, it's not the biggest kind of issue in the world. With Slumber's effect, being able to banish and also add a Kaiju, it kind of helps out that you don't need to get this straight away. Obviously, this is nice because you need it for the effects of the Kaijus, but it is not imperative to get it. So that's why I've gone for 2 and 1, because it means that you can get to it and you still have a good chance of seeing it at some point in the duel. Next up, we have 3, Owner Seal. Still rocking the Owner Seals. I really like this card. I much prefer it to Brainwashing, simply because this card can't be like MST'd or Twin Twisted like Brainwashing can. And if your opponent sees the Brainwashing, it's already up on the field, they can play around it. With this, it's very, very difficult for your opponent to play around because you're not going to search it, you're simply just going to draw it. And, you know, you're just going to be able to steal one of your opponent's monsters. Or, sorry, you're going to be able to steal your Kaiju back. So it's really good. Also, be aware that if you do control the Graydle attack to your opponent's monster and they have one of your Kaijus and you activate this, the monster does go back to them that's equipped with the Graydle. Graydle still stays, but, yeah, important thing to remember. 2 Twin Twister, just to block anything. You know, you can discard whatever. It's not too much of a big deal, if I'm completely honest. You have some Kaijus that, excuse me, can be discard fodder for just that, really. But yeah, Twin Twister is still a great card in this format. Next up for the traps, we have 2 Graydle Parasite. This card is just insane. Being able to activate it when your opponent declares a direct attack, you special summon a Graydle and give them a bit of a headache. And also, if they control no monsters, you can, when you attack, you can special summon one of their monsters. So if you feel like taking one of their monsters that might have a certain effect, go for it. So it's really, really nice, and yeah, solid card, and definitely a run of. 3 was too cloggy for me. Next up, the new Solemn Brigade. We have a 2 strike and 1 warning. Cards are just great, and in this version of the deck you can control quite nicely, as well as a certain amount of OTKing, but you know, Solemn Strikes and Warning is just great, especially for all the pendulum summoning that is happening right now. 1 Graydle Split. Now, I know a lot of people said, play more of this card's amazing. Yeah, the card is great, I won't deny that, but it's just... It's really annoying because it just clogged for me when I had it more than 1, and you don't really need it. It's just a really nice added card for me. So that's why I just run it at 1. So yeah, it's great. 1 Skill Drain. Just being able to run Skill Drain in this deck is kind of insane. So that's really good. Important thing with Skill Drain, there's a lot of rulings on how you have your Kaijus and such. So if you control a Kaiju and your opponent controls a Kaiju, and you Graydle, you get it from a Graydle, you can keep it because it's in your opponent's possession. I do believe that was the way that it was worded, but you can't have multiple ones on your side of the field, as in like from your possession. So yeah, it's an important thing to remember that. If you don't have Skill Drain and you take it with you have a Kaiju and you take your opponent's Kaiju with a Graydle, then they just go to the grave. So that's how it works. But yeah, 1 Skill Drain, really good. Bottomless Trap Hole is just good in general, this format. And then we also have Avanti's Emptiness because, again, this is just good, this format. So that is the main deck, and that is the deck overall. As I said, you don't need to run an extra deck, if we're completely honest, because the cards are just kind of win. You know, just being able to tribute your opponent's monsters is just kind of insane, if I'm completely honest. And you can't really ask for more a deck that is just based around like the original Lava Golems, because it pisses so many people off. you wouldn't even know. And yeah, I do love it. So that is it, guys. I want to know what you think of the deck down below. Apologies, a lot of people were asking for it for a long time, and I just couldn't get around to doing it because I was just so busy with everything else. But here it is. So I hope you enjoy it. There's a lot of things you can do with this deck, a lot of ways you can go with the Kaijus, a lot of different decks, and there's an interesting one that I'm thinking of doing very soon. So it involves an old school ritual that is very, very close to my heart. So make sure to stay tuned for that one. But that is it. So let me know down in the comment section below what you think of the deck. Make sure to give me a like, comment, subscribe, and I shall catch you guys later.